Good morning. So we're going to do some testing of our stalks of flax to see if they're ready. So we have two different stacks. One was done at 5 days, and this one was done at 10 days. And what you want to do when you're retting your flax after a few days, 4 days, you want to pull a few stalks out of your tank without draining your tank, set them out in the hot sun, and dry them. Once they've done dried, then you want to take a couple of them, and you want to just break them. And so I just kind of wiggle them back and forth between my fingers. Use my thumbnails, and break them, which simulates the flax break. And what you're trying to do is find out if they break easily or if they break a little bit more difficult. So the root ends tend to fall off anyway, but what you don't want is you don't want to have a lot of the core sticking to the fibers, and you want them to break away easy. So this feels like it still kind of just wants to bend rather than break. Even though it's breaking, some of it's not breaking really well. It's just kind of bendy. And then what you have is a lot of fibers that are still stuck together, and you have a lot of shive that's still stuck to the stalk. It just bends, and the shive doesn't want to fall away. No matter, you can get aggressive with it and get it off, but it doesn't come off easily. And you can do that with single stalks. You can flatten it and then try and break it. And if it's not a good rett, you're going to have a lot of stuff sticking to it, and you don't want to have too much sticking to it. So depending on how you do all this, so I can run it across my thumb, make it all nice and curly, but the fibers still kind of stick together even though I got the shive out. And we don't want that. You want these fibers to be separate, not like a flat sheet, but more separate individual fibers. So that one shows that it's not retted properly. So I have a big bundle that's not retted properly. This one was done at 10 days. We'll take some small ones. Visually looking at them, they don't look different. And then I'm just going to do the same thing. You can actually tell the difference it feels dry and crispy. And it just breaks really easy. And the shive just literally falls off. Doesn't want to stay stuck to the fiber, and it just breaks. It doesn't feel bendy. It doesn't feel yeah, it's kind of bendy. Doesn't feel wet. It almost feels wet when the fibers just bend and the shive doesn't fall away. So when you get to that point, everything looks good. Good fiber separation. Might have a little shive that sticks in. That's okay, because then you can take your scutching stick, whack your fiber a few times, and then it all falls out, and then all the fibers are all nicely separated. So I'll bring the camera up close, and I'll let you see this a little bit closer for both the well-retted and the poorly retted. Okay, we are now back. Here we have the well-retted fibers. These are 10-day. I've actually done some at 12, and I like the 12. Between 80 and 95 degrees in the water tank, and drain the water every couple days. Part of the water, about a third, and then fill it back up for good 10 days, 10 and a half days. Should do. And then this one was done. This one was done at like 5 days, and so sounds good there, but kind of feels bendy. Doesn't want to break away very well. And this last part here is really hard to break. So it shouldn't be that difficult to break even on these bigger pieces here. So they don't want to fall away easily. And you can see there's still a lot that's sticking to the fiber that you'd have to peel away. And if you can see that, you can see that it's more like a sheet rather than fine fiber. And so that's showing a poorly retted or incomplete retting. So you don't want to pull it out of the tank too soon. This is what happens. And I thought they were going to be good, and they were not. So get a lot of mucky, messy looking stuff. And then the stuff that looks good, they break crispy. Even the bigger ends break away, and then you lose some at the end for the root end. But real quick and easy, these fibers, the Shive just falls away. Much easier. And then what's left over, you use your scutching stick and scutch it out. And so this was 10 and a half days in the tank. And those extra days do help. It is hot in our area. We've been getting a lot of stuff up in the 103, 104 degrees outside temperature, but my tank is in the shade, so it doesn't get that hot. And I've been monitoring the temperatures. You can bring it all the way to the tips if you want. And so there you have much nicer fibers. These are uncombed. So once you comb it, get all the short junk out and help open these up even further. So that, compared to that, you can see the differences in the fiber and the Shive. And then we'll take a nice thick one of the 10 and a half day, and it just snaps, and all that inner core just easily falls away. I like the thinner stalks rather than these thick ones. Thick stalks produce thick fibers, good for rope. So if you have nothing but really super thick stalks like this, not the best for strength, not the best for fine fabric. But this stuff is really strong. Good rope, good cordage out of this stuff. So do what you wish with the really thick ones. I blend them all together actually, and I roll them in my crusher machine. Crushes everything up. So So I just wanted to show you those differences between well-retted and poorly retted fibers. So we'll talk to y'all later.